Outside of Formula One, endurance racing might be the most popular form of the sport that we know and love, bringing us some of the most legendary events in racing, such as the 24 Hours of Le Mans and the Rolex 24 at Daytona, where the very engineering behind each race car is pushed to its absolute limit in the ultimate test of stamina. In addition, the multi-class aspect of endurance racing adds a whole nother level of excitement and unpredictability. Lucky for us, endurance racing is entering another golden era, and today we're talking about the major reasons why there is much to be looking forward to. This upcoming golden era of endurance racing has primarily been initiated by a regulation change that everybody has been talking about in both major endurance racing organizations. This is the convergence of IMSA's GTP class with WEC's Hypercar class and LMDH and LMH specifications combining. For those of you new to endurance racing or unsure what all this means, here is some quick terminology. WEC stands for the World Endurance Championship and is the main organization for endurance racing, hosting the 24 Hours of Le Mans and has races spanning worldwide. IMSA, on the other hand, stands for the International Motorsports Association and only races in America, but in nearly identical fashion to WEC. I have linked both organizations' websites in the description if you want to learn more. Each has multiple classes, with WEC containing Hypercar, LMP2 Le Mans Prototype 2, with subdivisions for Pro and Am depending on the drivers of the car, and LMGTE, which stands for Le Mans Grand Touring Endurance, also with divisions for Pro and Amateur. IMSA has GTP or Grand Touring Prototype, LMP2, LMP3, GTD Pro with GTD standing for Grand Touring Daytona, and just GTD. So the big news in simple terms is that the top class in each, being Hypercar and GTP, are pretty much the same now. Previously, WEC's Hypercar was called LMP1 or Le Mans Prototype 1 and had slightly different regulations, and IMSA's top class was called DPI or Daytona Prototype International and was also under slightly different regulations. Most importantly, DPI and LMP1 were different from one another. So if a manufacturer wanted to compete in both organizations, an entirely different car following entirely different rules was required. This meant that far more money had to be spent and likely reduced the return on investment to fund such a program. As a result, many manufacturers were deterred from entering both, and last year in 2022, even after WEC switched from LMP1 to Hypercar, there was not a single manufacturer that competed in both organizations. The field was also very small in each, with WEC featuring only Toyota, Glickenhaus, and Alpine, while IMSA had only Acura and Cadillac, making for a literal two-horse race that became all too stale. For the 2023 season, all of this changed. Hypercar in WEC was built to LMH rules, which stands for Le Mans Hypercar. IMSA did away with the DPI class and regulations in 2023 and created the GTP, or Grand Touring Prototype class, which accepts entries under LMH rules, seen from WEC, as well as LMDH rules, which is Le Mans Daytona Hybrid. Furthermore, WEC now accepts LMDH cars into its top hypercar class, and both LMDH and LMH regulations now coexist within both regulations. The outcome of this has been nothing short of incredible. With it now more economically viable for manufacturers to enter both organizations, as only one car needs to be designed and produced rather than two, the diversity of each field has exploded. In WEC, the entries more than doubled, with the Hypercar class now consisting of Toyota, Ferrari, Glickenhaus, Porsche, Peugeot, Van Wall, and Cadillac. And now in IMSA, we see Acura, Cadillac, BMW, and Porsche. You may have noticed now that multiple manufacturers have entered both organizations, with Cadillac and Porsche being the most notable. Many new teams such as Ferrari, BMW, and Peugeot have also launched LMH and LMDH programs, as the spending is now more justifiable. In the next year, most of these teams will enter a car into both organizations and fully cross over, but are spending the first year getting things going. The best example is Ferrari, who just joined WEC and plans to enter a car into IMSA just next year. The Ferrari alone has already spiced up WEC, being the first real challenger to the Toyota Hypercar dominance, qualifying first at the 1,000 miles of Sebring this year. With both fields doubling in size and far more diversity seen across them, we can expect that the racing will be far more interesting, with predicting a winner becoming much more difficult. This has also attracted many new fans to the sport, as many enthusiasts' favorite manufacturers are now competing, giving them a reason to watch. For example, if you are a Ferrari fan in Formula 1, which must be absolutely terrible, you surely had to hear of the new Hypercar program that they have been launching this year, and most likely checked it out, providing a gateway into endurance racing. All of these effects that are generated by the new regulation changes should bring many more fans to both IMSA and WEC, and greatly increase the entertainment value of the racing, contributing massively to this new golden era. The other big reason that endurance racing has gotten a lot more exciting is the introduction of the GTD Pro class in IMSA. It was previously titled GTLM and followed near identical regulations to WEC's LMGTE class, but was a fundamentally different car from IMSA's GTD. For the same reasons as we saw with the top classes, and funding being less justified, the GTLM field grew very small, making things far less intriguing. However, just last year, this class was eliminated and changed to GTD Pro, where the cars are now identical to the GTD class. The effects have been pretty much the same as well, with both GTD Pro and GTD now featuring more manufacturers with record high entry quantities in both classes. And once again, this creates more unpredictability and drags more fans into the sport, making for an overall win. As evidenced, last year's GTD Pro fight between the Pfaff Motorsports Porsche and Corvette racing teams was pretty much a back and forth until the 911 eventually got the upper hand, but nevertheless, the battle was far more interesting to watch with a larger field. So as we wrap up, I think it's pretty clear to see that all of these changes have been a net positive for endurance racing, and as a result, we have many exciting years ahead of us. If you have any thoughts on this, let me know in the comments down below what you might predict the future to look like for endurance racing, or why not you might think that these reasons hold true. I think with the top class converging and a lot of our rules and regulations becoming the same across both organizations, and many more manufacturers being encouraged to enter new hypercar programs into both organizations, I think that we're going to see a lot more diversity over the next few years, and it's going to definitely bring a lot more crossover and fans from one organization to another, and vice versa, an overall great thing for the sport. Additionally, on the IMSA side and the GT car world, the creation of the GTD Pro class and elimination of the GTLM class in IMSA has largely helped the diversity of that field and made the racing a lot more intriguing on that end. And I've actually had the privilege to see this play out in real time. For the past few years, I have been to every single Rolex 24 at Daytona and every single 12 hours of Sebring, and that has allowed me to see how these classes have changed over time, and I can say with a lot of certainty, being at the 2023 Rolex 24 and 2023 12 hours of Sebring, that the new GTP class is a very positive thing, and the increased diversity of the field has made it a lot more interesting than just watching Acura and Cadillac battle it out alone. But other than these reasons, that's about all I'm going to be covering today, so I thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave it a like and consider subscribing to the channel to see more stuff like this. But with that being said, thank you for watching and have a great day.